This section of the mini course is titled Making the Connection. So whether you're in sales, trying to improve your relationships, you're a business owner, or you're in customer service, or just trying to improve your career, move up that career ladder, have an absolute edge when you go into interview for a job promotion. If you need more sales, if you want more sales, pay attention, because making the connection is so important and vital to this process. I want to tell you a story about a guy that I met a couple years ago, only over the phone, but a phenomenal story. I was running some radio commercials, and a guy called in off the radio commercial, introduced himself. He says, you know, I've heard your radio commercials for about 3 months now, but I had to call in. And so I talked to him over the phone, and I asked him what his name was. He said his name was Doug, and I asked him what he did. And he said that he was a siding contractor. And I asked him why he was calling, and he says, you know, I'm really frustrated right now. And I've heard your commercials about what you do, and I decided to call in today because of this. I just drove down a street. 2 weeks ago, I had given an estimate to these folks about doing a patio remodel and some siding on their home. And lo and behold, somebody else's yard sign is in their yard, and somebody else got the job. Has that ever happened to you? You thought that you were going to win, and suddenly you found out that somebody else got the advancement, somebody else made the sale, somebody else got the business deal, or somebody else even excelled in the personal relationship. That's what I want to talk about. Making the connection. So I talked to this gentleman. I asked him, I said, tell me a little bit about your company. Remember, I told you before, it's company, it's product, and it's you. People start to judge you within 3 seconds. Within 10 seconds, they form opinions about you. So I'm talking to this gentleman. He tells me about his company. It's a little 3-man operation, been in business for about 15 years. Nice looking truck, logoed trucks, good clean set guys, clean shaven guys, great guys working for him. And so he had a great product, he had a great company. I asked him about his product, where he got it from. It was the same as everybody else's. And I said, why are you calling me? And he says, Raj, I told you, I'm calling you because I saw that yard sign out there that said somebody else got the job. And it's happening to me way too often. I'm losing these opportunities. And after talking to him for a couple minutes, I said, Doug, I've got some news for you. It's not the product, it's not the company, it's you. You're doing something that is creating resistance and not allowing people to feel trust and confidence in you. So he was able to learn the things that we're showing you here, and additional skills that allowed him to be very effective in his approach and interaction with people. I sold him our product right over the phone. 2 months later, this guy called me up, introduced himself again, caught me at a good time, and he says, I'm now a 6-man company, Roger. I have doubled the size of my company in 60 days. I said, tell me how that happened. Tell me more. He said, well, I saw exactly what I was doing wrong when I was at people's homes talking to them about what I could do for them. I eliminated those resistance points, created likability, and they just naturally liked me, trusted me, and felt comfortable doing business with me. Thank you so very, very much. Well, that leads into what I want to tell you about today. 85% of the reason anybody does anything with anyone is very simple. I like you and I trust you. In this case, I like you, Doug, and I think I can trust you. Now, when a person has an opportunity to do business with you, align themselves with you on a social situation, an economic situation, career advancement, customer service, they have an opportunity to align themselves with you, and they back away. And you find out that they're doing business or aligning themselves with somebody else. If you were to go up to that person, let's say that Doug had stopped his truck and walked up to that house and knocked on the door and said, hey folks, I gave you a proposal a couple of weeks ago and I see you're doing business with somebody else. How do you think that would come across? You can't just walk up to somebody's place and ask that person why they're doing business with somebody else. That's an awkward situation to put somebody into. So how do you find out why people choose somebody over you? You do an independent survey, because people aren't going to tell you the truth if you ask them point blank. And independent surveys would suggest that there are 2 main reasons that people back off from aligning themselves with you on a social or professional level. First of all, 25% of the people will say this, you know, the features, the benefits, the what was in it for me just didn't seem to make sense. So I went over here and took another look. at another opportunity. And it made sense. I connected and I moved forward. Now that can apply to relationships, career advancement, making a sale, customer service, business opportunities. It's all about connecting with people. So 25% of the people said the features and benefits didn't make sense to them. 75% of the people will say this: you know, I didn't like the way I was approached. I never enjoyed the interaction. I never connected with that person. Business, relationships, advancement in career, it's all personal. You have to learn how to overcome hidden barriers and gain the trust and confidence of people quickly and through an ongoing relationship. Now remember, I told you 25% of the people said the features and benefits didn't make sense to me. Have you ever spoken to somebody face to face, eyeball to eyeball, and suddenly thought to yourself, I don't think I'm getting through to this person? Remember I talked about that earlier? That mechanism in your brain, the reticular actuator, is constantly scanning for things familiar, unusual, or problematic. And when it picks up on something, it's in the form of a positive or negative impulse. Well, if you're talking to somebody and you don't think you're getting through to them, what good is it to sell features and benefits? What good is it to talk about yourself? What good is it to try to paint a picture of what you can do for somebody if they've mentally checked out? That's what happened to the 25%. Because they didn't make a connection with the person, they zoned out and they did not absorb the features and benefits. Here's a prime example. All of us in our careers and in our experiences, we've seen what's called a gearhead, a person that knows everything about product and company but can't make a sale. A person that knows everything about a subject, but socially is not accepted. Why does that happen? They're missing a component, the people part of business. I want to talk to you about something called Sales 101. And it's effective everywhere you go, no matter what you do. So watch this as I illustrate this. We have this little situation like this. And we're going to call this Sales 101. Now, I don't want to offend anybody. This is a kind of an old school thing that I picked up a long time ago. So it's not exactly politically correct, but it does teach a life lesson. How many of you have heard this? A lot of guys know this. This is an inside scenario, inside information with regards to guys. Just like you ladies that are out there watching, there's certain things that you would tell at a slumber party when you're a kid or when you get with your girlfriends that us guys are never privy to. Well, this is kind of some inside information that guys understand. And I want you to take a look at this and see how it affects you and your situation. Imagine a baby bull and a daddy bull were out grazing over the hills. They come up over the hill, it's the daddy bull and the baby bull, and they look down into this valley. And down in this valley, the baby bull says to his dad, "Hey Dad, look at all those heifers down there. Let's run down and get one." What did the dad say to his son? The baby says, "Let's run down and get one." The dad says, "Wait a minute, son. Let's plan our plan. Let's plan our work. Let's work our plan. And I'm going to talk to you about that later. That is so important. And let's walk down and get them all." You know, in business, in love, in relationships, in career advancement, you got to be patient. You have to have a plan. You need to know what you're doing and where you're going before you get there. You cannot fly by the seat of your pants. We want to help you to understand what is important and what you need to know to have a plan so that you're more effective in your approach and interaction with people so that they naturally like you, trust you, and want to align themselves with you. Now I have one more story, a closing story for you that shows the effect of this. I met a gentleman 10 years ago that worked as a car salesman. He had never sold cars before in his life. And he was a little bit timid about going out and selling cars. And he ends up selling cars at a Ford dealership. And there were 60 other salespeople that sold there. This is in the latter part, the late 1990s, 1998, 1999. And this gentleman came on board with us, learned these things, learned these skills, learned how to effectively approach and interact with people. Make no mistake, we're in the people business. Whether you're a mom trying to get your kid to eat his vegetables or you're trying to go up that career advancement, we're in the people business. This gentleman understood that. And he worked there for 11 months. And in 11 months, from going from nowhere, ground zero, having no prior experience, having no relationships. He received 5 awards for Car Salesman of the Month, Used Car Salesman of the Month. He received the largest check ever given to a car salesman in the 30-year history of that facility. $8,700 in commission for 10 days. His 4th month in the business was December. He sold 28 cars and made $14,000 in commission. I talked to this gentleman, and you know what he said? It wasn't about the product. It wasn't about being a gearhead. It was about being good with people. Understanding the most effective way to approach and interact with people, making the connection, understanding that people start to judge you within 3 seconds. Within 10 seconds, they start to form opinions about you. You have to understand this. You have to know the skills to effectively approach and interact with people to make that connection. This entire mini course is built to give you some tools and some information, some fundamentals on understanding there is an opportunity for you to go to the next level, to gain an unfair advantage over the competition. I'll tell you, I can't keep from smiling from remembering people that have gone through this, guys that couldn't get a second date, but came through this, understood these techniques, and I have been invited to no fewer than 6 weddings. I have seen people get advancement when they were not as qualified, did not have the education, but they knew how to approach and interact with people. I've seen business deals come about, inside information given because somebody connected with someone else. Thank you very, very much. Making the connection. Next time, we'll have something very, very exciting for you. Thank you.